wait a minute.
Hi, Deacon.
Hi, Linda. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can't see you, but I can hear you.
Huh. Oh, my.
Tech support is on the way.
Do you hear that?
Yes, I did.
Okay, Deacon Fungus, where is your start video?
Start video. Okay.
There
There
you are.
Your head.
All right. Well, we're good.
There you go.
Is that light gonna make you crazy?
It's not going to bother me.
Makes it easier for me to read.
Well, that's the important thing, that you can,
There we
read.
go.
Yeah,
We go.
yeah, yeah,
You
it's
doing
okay.
Linda? You holding up all right? The craziness?
I am. How about you?
I'm all right. Why are we recording, Deacon?
Well,
We're-
because we had it, so we always record our meetings, and
cool.
yeah. And if I pause it now while we're chit-chatting, I am likely to forget to turn it back on.
Well, I'm gonna let the dog have my spot because she's pushy. And I'm back to making supper.
Bye.
Have a
Bye.
nice meeting.
She's my favorite.
There you go.
She's
There you go. What's her name?
Ina.
Ina. Oh.
Yes, we used to be running partners when we were both younger.
Oh. But you've taken to more sedentary activity now.
Well, since my knees went bad, yes. I mean, it's I had surgery on one and hyaluronic acid injections in the other.
Mm-hmm.
And then after some false starts, I gave up running.
Did you? Yeah.
Had to. It
Yeah.
was, if I ran, I couldn't walk upstairs afterwards,
Well, yeah, that kind of defeats the purpose, doesn't it?
It's
I can run, but I can't do my activities of daily living.
yeah, well, I mean, I couldn't run either. So,
Yeah.
but I did, but with the surgery and the injections, I mean, I get around just fine.
Good. Oh, good.
But it is a bitter pill.
Yeah. Yeah. Hmm.
Well, so lots of emails today. I guess, yeah.
So we'll ask Steve to do
Yeah.
his usual management of the guests and questions.
Yeah.
Does that sound good?
Sounds perfect. Yeah.
Is Robert's not coming, right? Is that?
I have not heard from him.
I think I remember him saying at the last meeting that he couldn't attend.
Oh, too bad.
Yeah.
Too bad. Well, we'll need, I mean, this is, it's a simple, I mean, we just got to get to 4.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't have to get to 5.
That's good.
It's good. It's good. I'll tell you, getting to 5 is really hard sometimes.
Yeah.
Because we do have recusals.
Yeah.
Ina's abandoned us. She's going to go beg for dinner, although she's already eaten.
Yeah. Sometimes my cat shows up. This afternoon, he was laying right next to my computer, and so I could only type with one hand, because if I went to type with 2, he would swat my left hand. Good thing it was near the end of the day. But he occasionally shows up, just kind of shows up in the background.
The, yeah, the critters have a good deal.
They do. And he's really quite happy that I am home,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, really for the most part. And so now he thinks that it's good to have, he usually eats twice a day, but he thinks it's a good idea to eat
More than that.
3 times at least.
Yeah, yeah.
So, right. So there are some people that look like guests in the waiting room.
Okay.
So I'm just going to let them stay there for now
Okay.
until.
There are expected 2 prospective planning board members,
Okay. Well,
and the applicant is going to show up too.
okay. So, well, one of the people is Robert Selesky, and the other one I can't tell. It just says MD 532.
Her name is Mary David. She's one of the prospective members.
Okay. Okay. All right. So we'll just.
She and Alan Hansen have both volunteered to serve.
Wow.
Well, my reaction too. I didn't expect that.
I have 2. Okay,
So-
Michael's here. So I'm going to just let in all the board members, and then when
Okay.
you're ready, then, you know, Steve can do the
We can-
guess.
We can talk about the Red Sox.
Oh, okay. I'm going to,
Well-
Michael.
Not really, but
Not really, no. No, it's a 2.
hey, Michael. I guess he didn't hear me.
No, he's connecting. He's not here yet.
Yeah.
Look. There's Michael.
Hi there.
Hey,
Hi.
Mike.
How you doing?
We're doing okay.
Good. Hey, Deacon, what number Montague do you live on?
276.
Oh, okay. I had a feeling. I just walked up there today. And what's the sign at the top of your road?
Here and there.
Yeah. I was like, that might be Deacon.
It is. And well, it's a happy family. My stepdaughters are here too.
Is your stepdaughter, she used to work at Cushman way back when?
Way back when.
Yeah. Okay. When my kids were there, I think she was there the first year or something.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
She has the house in the back.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't look down the driveway, but I was
Well,
like, when I get home, I should look it up.
You can't see the buildings from the road.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Good. It is good. And in the winter, you can't hear the traffic with the windows closed.
That's nice. Not hearing traffic is a great thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. When we first moved out to Western Mass, we lived in Whately for 5 years, and I hate listening to cars. And so I intentionally visited the house different times of day before we bought it. And it was on a dirt road, and it was at least a half a mile, probably a mile from 91. But in the summer, because of the way the sound waves are,
Yeah.
you could hear the semis. I was so depressed. You know, the summer would come, you'd want to open the windows and you just hear the whine of the semis changing gears.
Right. Right.
Yep. I used to live in Blandford, probably more than, no. I used to live in Blandford, and we had the turnpike.
Wow.
We had the turnpike, and you know, yeah.
You can't escape it.
You wouldn't hear it. You wouldn't hear it, and then you'd hear it, depending on the season and the way the wind and the sound was traveling.
Yeah, it's fascinating.
Yeah.
Well, and it's really surprising. I mean, people drive at 50 miles an hour on Montague Road.
People drive really fast on Baker Road, and
On Baker?
You all know I live really close to the road, so I'm paying very close attention to it. And
Wow. There's
Graceful.
going up
Not
the hill
50.
in Baker?
not 50, but definitely more than 30 miles an hour, which is really fast for Baker.
Yeah, there's not much of Baker.
No, there's not.
I mean, on our road on top of Pratt Corner, if you're coming up the hill, you know, there's all this stretch in between where there's just conservation land and people think they're in the middle of nowhere. So
Yeah.
they get to our house and they're zooming.
Yeah. Well, and there's not much of Baker Road, but people do. They come up the hill, and then
Mhm.
when you come around the corner at Schoolhouse, they go vroom, or they come down really fast. And
Wow.
there, and the thing is, there isn't much of the road, meaning it's really narrow. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
I measured it last month. I know, I know exactly what it is.
so let's see. Hang on for a second. Okay. Oh, Robert's here.
Robert Raymond?
Robert is here, and Donna McNichol is here.
Yay.
Good, good. Hi, Donna.
Hey, Donna.
She's not hearing us.
I hear you.
Oh, you're just not saying hello.
I'm not saying hello. I'm not being friendly tonight. No. I was on mute. I didn't realize it.
You have to pay extra for friendly.
Yeah, exactly. A lot extra. She doesn't do friendly that well. So
your-
a question to you, Michael, while we're waiting.
Yes,
Yeah.
please.
In the plan that only had the two with one not having enough frontage,
Yeah.
they didn't write not a building lot on it, right?
Like on the plan?
Yeah, on the lot that didn't have enough frontage.
I don't think so. I can.
The reason I ask is you can have an A&R with a
Mhm.
plan, one of the lots not having enough frontage,
Okay.
as long as you write not a building lot.
I don't think they did, but I'll
Okay,
double check.
That's fine. I just wanted to check and make sure.
Thank you for all your help as usual. It's
Oh, you're welcome.
Hi, Linda. No, I don't think she,
Just so you're aware for the future that, you know, the bottom line is that you can do an A&R even if a lot doesn't have frontage, as long as you put not a building lot.
Huh.
For instance, if somebody wants to do an A&R and just add a sliver to somebody else's property,
okay.
they can do an A&R and then convey that out. It's not a
Got it.
building lot to add it without having to do a whole subdivision. So I just
That
wanted to clarify that after
So-
our email.
And it would be on the, like, right around
It would
somewhere
have to
that's
be on
obvious.
the lot. It would have to be on the lot.
Yeah. Nothing that I see.
All right, then they'd need the frontage for the second lot. So
Yeah.
that's acceptable then. All right.
Cool.
I just thought I'd clarify that point.
Always good to know.
Exactly.
Well, we'll see who the audience is today.
Oh, there are a number of people in the waiting room, but we're going to wait for Steve to come to manage the guests.
oh, we're still a few minutes. Well, we're getting close to 7.
We are.
I hope Jeff shows up.
So if Steve doesn't show up, backup for managing the guests and participants, volunteer.
Not getting a lot of takers there, Linda.
Yeah, I know. Huh? It's just too hard to, I can't do
Yeah.
it and take minutes at the same time.
I could probably do it.
Well, let's see if Steve shows up. I mean, I'm assuming Steve's going to come.
Yeah.
Not here yet.
Yeah.
And in terms of voting, if he's not here, we don't have a quorum for Baker. Right?
And where's Jeff?
That's
Well,
a good question.
He's coming. I spoke with him earlier today. I think he's just a little late.
Steve says, sorry, eating.
Does that mean he's,
I think that's him, sorry, eating. I'm not sure who sorry eating is, but I wonder if that's him.
maybe he's complaining about the dinner?
No. Let's see.
What kind of excuse is that? Hey, Donna, have you heard any developments about the solar tax suit thing?
No, it's totally stalled out because of COVID.
Hmm.
They haven't done a thing in court. I mean, I've heard, but they haven't
Yeah.
done anything.
Okay, so Sorry Eating was Jeff. So the only person you don't have now is Steve.
Okay.
Well,
Should we call him? Make sure.
yeah, I can do that. I'll get the phone.
Okay.
I have it already.
Deacon, Jeff has a phone.
He's my pal. I know his number. Steve. Hey, you gonna join our meeting? Okay, great. We'll see you in a minute. All right, bye. He'll be along.
Okay. Well, why don't we start? And I can read the governor's announcement and appeal for public comment.
But here's the thing. We don't have the
Waiting.
guests. The guests are still in the waiting room.
You want to give me the co-host and I'll let them in
Yep.
until Steve comes and then I'll
Yes.
give it to him?
Yes.
Okay.
Hang on for a second. Okay, see, it won't let me do co-host, so you're host now.
I'm host. Ooh, baby.
Yeah.
So-
you got it.
Okay. So what's the tab for letting them in as a
So
participant?
if you go down to the participants at the bottom
Yep.
and click on participants,
Yep. I'm in
it'll
it.
bring up the list and it'll show you who's in the waiting room.
Oh, I see admit. Okay.
Yep. So then you just want to, yeah.
I got it.
Okay.
So have you let in? So is,
Hey, before we start, since Steve is in, I'm going to give him, hey, Steve, you there?
he's connecting to audio.
Yeah, there's two of him. I think he's, well, let's see what he's doing. Because I can make him host.
This COVID thing is just wonderful.
Where'd he go?
Only thing good about it is the driving.
Or lack thereof.
Exactly what I'm talking about. I can do everything out of this office. It's not bad.
Oh, and the nice thing about being here is you can actually walk outside and it's nice. Go for a little walk around the house or down the road.
Because you live in such a great neighborhood.
Yes, I do. And there were no bugs out today, which is really weird.
Because the heat killed them.
They seem to thrive every day.
They say global warming is reducing the insect populations quite a lot.
It's supposed to go the other way.
I don't know. The entomologists are upset.
I haven't
Who's
seen
they?
any. I haven't seen any honeybees this year. None.
Oh, Steve, where are you?
My
Oh,
screen,
that was Alan. Okay.
That was me,
Yeah.
Michael.
my screen says he's connecting to audio.
Yeah, he's having, well, we could start and I'll just interrupt and make him host when he shows up.
Okay. Okay. Well, we'll start. I'll read the governor's announcement. Following the governor's restrictions on public meetings, this meeting is being held virtually using zoom.com for remote participation. Public may access it following in the instructions on this meeting's agenda posted on the town calendar. If despite our best efforts, we are not able to provide real-time access, the public can request a recording of the meeting by contacting clerk. And then I'll ask for a public comment. If somebody wants to say something about a topic that's not on the agenda or needs to leave early, this is a good time to speak.
Aren't you the host?
No, I'm not the host.
I thought you were organizing things.
No, I was not.
That's what they
You
were
will
saying.
be, Steve. You will be.
I will be what?
You will be host as soon as it looks like you're connecting.
Oh, I didn't know I was supposed to be host tonight. I'm sorry.
Are you the 8689
I
person?
didn't even get back in.
Am I the what?
8689 person.
Yes, I am.
Okay. But you can't see the controls, can you? Or can you?
Well, when I initially logged in, I wasn't getting any audio and you guys weren't hearing. And so I called in on the phone instead because, as I said, I didn't realize I was supposed to be hosting.
We didn't tell you.
It's an ongoing responsibility.
That might be the reason.
Well, so as of now, you're still host, Michael.
Yes.
Okay, well,
We'll go from there.
yeah. So I take it that nobody wants to respond to my appeal for public comment. In which case, I think we should just move on to the preliminary subdivision plans.
Can I make one question? Just make one question. Linda,
Yes.
would you like people who don't have names to identify who they are for the minutes?
If it would be helpful, and otherwise, if
Am I
someone
on there?
speaks, they could,
What's that?
if anyone speaks, if they would identify themselves.
Okay,
Hey, Linda, excuse me, could you let me into the meeting, please?
I can.
Or Michael?
Yep.
Whoever's your host right now.
Thank you.
Uh, You want to do it on my computer?
I can do it this way.
But if you're hosting the meeting, you can't.
Yes, I can. Okay.
So-
Let me do something here. Hold on for a second.
Cool.
Here I am.
Okay.
Okay.
So I'll make you host.
Yes.
Okay. You ready for the power?
Yes.
Okay.
I am ready for the power.
Okay. It's coming at you.
Okay.
Got it.
Okay. So why don't we just go to the draft decisions? Shall we start with Roaring Brook?
Yeah, I'm ready to run through the first three, which Linda, I think in the order we discussed them last time, Roaring Brook, Bean Brook, Nurse Brook.
Yes.
And I numbered them accordingly, 1, 2, and 3.
Yep.
And then I think Michael numbered Baker Brook 4.
Yep.
Correct.
Okay. So that's,
Does someone want to, Jeff, do you want to screen share that?
yes, I do need to screen share it. Shall I click on screen share?
See if you can.
Host disabled, participate.
All right, I'm going to do it.
I'm still feeling disabled.
Hang on for a second. I have to.
Okay. Yeah, I'm afraid the Zoom meeting ain't gonna help you.
Wait a minute, it went to my screen. Hold on, I'm sorry.
According to my list, Jeff's not. Oh, you're sharing the screen, Linda.
I'm
Okay.
not supposed to be. Sorry. I'm trying to get out of it and I can't. Okay, there we go. What I'm trying to do is allow one participant at a time, and that would be Jeff. Wait a minute. Hold on. Okay, go ahead, Jeff.
Doing. And board, which one is this? Nurse Brook, Dean Brook. Where the hell's Roaring Brook? There it is. There it is. Okay. We in business?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, here it is, the Roaring Brook decision. This reflects what we talked about last time. What I'm about to say pertains to all the decisions. And Michael and I did coordinate on format, so we have almost the same formats going. Although the content of his Baker Brook is entirely his own creation. We have a similar format, and this is an adapted planning board special permit form. It's been adapted over to be a preliminary subdivision decision. Now, Donna, do I need to ask the board to accept this form going forward?
If you want, we'll honor Michael's process pendants and we can accept the form.
Okay, I can do process too.
Thank you, Donna.
So,
Does this require a vote?
Not really, but I think Jeff and Michael would like a vote, so we'll do one.
okay, so I, Jeff Lacy, move that we take this format and adopt it as our preliminary subdivision decision format going forward.
I, Michael Form Lover de Chiara, second that.
Okay. Does anybody want to comment on this? At length, I hope.
Oh, yeah.
It's beautiful.
Okay, so that's the comment.
Oh, all right, so now we have to vote. We have to roll call.
Okay. Michael,
Aye.
Jeff,
Lacy, aye.
Steve,
Aye.
Robert,
Aye.
Linda,
Aye.
and I'm an I.
Okay, so this is our form. All right. So this basically just has all the required information on it. Has our decision date right here. Can you see my cursor moving around?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
great. And it has, all the requirement information about the book and the page number and the town map and the lot number. It also has a submission date of July 13th, which is our last meeting, which is what we believe is the correct submission date. It lists off the meeting dates, July 13th and August 3rd tonight. It's a 2-lot preliminary subdivision plan, and this is the title of it, where it's located, the parcel. The plan was dated 6/24. All these are. All of them are prepared by Mark E. Shute, PLS. No plot plan and building plans, NA. So the next part of this thing, and all three that I'm going to present involve 6 findings. I'm not going to read every last one of them. Maybe I'll go into a little more detail on this first one. But the first finding says the statutory requirements for submission of a preliminary plan under state law are that submission is to be to the planning board and board of health of the city or town, with notice of such submission to the town clerk. And accordingly, the date of the submission is determined to be July 13th, 2020, when the planning board first had this application before it. So this is when we first all had it, and when we were first able to consider it as a board. And that's what we have found. Now, every one of these findings has a decision that goes with it. So after I go through the 6 findings, there'll be 6 decisions, and they match up with these findings. Finding 2, the plan provided in label's preliminary plan shows the division of a tract of land into 2 or more lots where every lot within the tract so divided has frontage on a public way, Montague Road. This is not a subdivision pursuant to MGL Chapter 4181L.
Oh, there's a typo there, Jeff.
Oh, where we got?
It should be 81L, not 41L. Very last thing.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, good. Okay, so this type of division where you take a whole piece of land and you divide it up into 2 pieces, and each of the 2 pieces has frontage on a public way, that's categorically excluded from the definition of subdivision. That's an A&R plan, not a subdivision. Okay, we found that. Now we find, now number 3, we're looking at the state requirements for a preliminary plan. And in the definition of preliminary plan in the state law, 4181L definition of preliminary plan, it says what the minimum is. What the minimum is you have to file. So we find it does not meet all the minimum statutorily required elements listed there. Namely, the scale. Scale is wrong. I'm not going to belabor this stuff. Names of all abutters as determined from the most recent tax list instead of a butters list based on the Shutesbury GIS mapping. So instead of using the tax list, they use GIS mapping because it's quicker and it's what they could do quick, what they could do fast. And this whole section here, from here on down to here, thanks to Michael's prodigious research, shows the errors and the differences in these 2 approaches. So it's not like they're just the same thing and they'll yield the same results, they yield different results. So to get what's required, you need to use the tax list, and they didn't do it. Next, the existing lines of streets, ways, easements, and any public areas within the subdivision. Carver Road, which is a street and a way, and the most prominent feature on that piece of land, is not shown, and a buried transmission cable easement are not shown. So that's a missing easement and a missing street or way. Adjacent existing natural waterways, Roaring Brook, which this preliminary plan is named after, is not shown. The names and approximate locations and widths of adjacent streets. No information is given on the width of Montague Road, either its layout or traveled lanes. So we don't know anything about Montague Road. We don't know how wide the layout is or how wide the travel lanes are. And Carver Road, again, is not shown. That's number 3 finding. This is what you're supposed to find under the state statute. 4, the plan provided and labeled as preliminary plan does not show open space design as required by our current Shutesbury zoning bylaw. Bylaw states that all subdivisions shall comply with the open space design provisions unless a deviation is allowed by special permit of the planning board. They made no effort to comply with this at all. So that's the finding. Finding 5. The plan labeled and provided as preliminary plan does not include all the required contents as outlined in the Shutesbury regulations governing the subdivision land. Corresponding to the numbers in this section, the regulations require correct scale for the plan. 1 inch equals 40 feet, when 1 inch equals 200 is provided. The full, again, this is the same. The full names, and no, this actually includes mailing addresses. Full names and mailing addresses of all abutters is determined from the most recent tax list. Instead, a butters list is based on web mapping, GIS web mapping. So the same list that appeared above, same long list, again, courtesy of Michael's research in all cases, appears here. So these are all the discrepancies. 4, the existing and proposed lines of streets, ways, easements, and any public areas within the subdivision. Carver, again, this is a bit repetitive. Carver Road and the buried transmission cable are not shown. Adjacent existing natural waterways. Roaring Brook, not shown. The names, approximate locations, and widths of adjacent streets. No information is given on the width of Montague Road, either its layout or traveled lanes, and Carver Road is not shown. This is almost verbatim what we had at
So Jeff, can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah.
The state regs and these are Shutesbury regs in this case are the same, correct?
No, the Shutesbury regs are a little more extensive.
Okay, but you just are saying we're replicating at least 3 or 4 of these items that were in the state regs.
There's a lot of replication, but the one I'm about to do is unique to Shutesbury.
Okay.
Number 9, other major site features. And for this piece of property, this is big. The remains of the Carver family homestead, including cellar holes, stone corrals, rock walls, cart paths, and a well are not shown. So that's a major site feature. This used to be the Carver farm on Carver Road, not shown. So those are all the things that are missing from the Shutesbury requirements. We'll probably find more if we really put ourselves to it. Number 6, waivers of compliance under 7B have been sought for certain requirements under section 3B and 3C. These are waivers to our own regulations. The planning board does not find it in the public interest to grant such waivers. And I don't know if we determined this last time or discussed it much, but this would be a finding that we would have to make tonight.
Yeah, we did discuss it.
And did we vote not to do any waivers?
Correct.
Okay, so done. Now we're on to decisions. So these decisions match up with the findings. Same numbering. Planning board has determined this is not a subdivision plan. However, if a subdivision plan, if a subdivision plan, the earliest date of submittal to the planning board would be July 13th, 2020.
I mean, do you want to, I'm not sure that's a good sentence, the second part. I'm not sure about the sentence structure here. I mean,
Well, if it's legal, I think we should leave it.
It is legal. You might want to put a comma after plan. So it says, however, if a subdivision plan, comma,
Rambo.
only estate.
It's so easy.
I mean, obviously the point of that is that they're claiming it's a subdivision plan. We're saying it's not. But if a court determined it was, then the submission date was July 13th rather than what they're going to claim, obviously, is that it was July 26th or June 26th, the day before the town meeting.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that, Deacon, that's why I was suggesting, as long as it holds water legally and it's defensible, it's written, then I'd sort of let go of the grammar since we have 4 of these.
okay. It just doesn't, I'm sorry. My mother was an English teacher.
Close your eyes.
Deacon, forget about the headmaster.
Okay.
Number 2, the planning board rejects the plan because it does not meet the definition of subdivision defined in the subdivision control law, which excludes divisions where every lot within the tract so divided has frontage on a public way, Montague Road. Therefore, the application is rejected as not a subdivision and is not deemed submitted. So here we say the earliest date of submittal is the 13th, and here we say it's not submitted.
Therefore needs an E.
Oh, I went around and put it in. There we go. Okay. So there we go. What we have, they have not submitted a subdivision plan, and therefore it's rejected. Can't be fixed because it's not a subdivision plan. Next one, planning board rejects the plan because it does not show all of the minimum statutorily required elements listed at MGL Chapter 4181L. That would be the definition of a preliminary plan.
That's another E.
Oh. Therefore, the application is rejected as incomplete and deemed not submitted. So these are two biggies. I mean, this is a biggie that it's submitted on the 13th, and these two, so if it's deemed submitted earlier, then these two become more important, because what was submitted is not a subdivision. It doesn't meet the requirements of the definition. It doesn't meet the minimum what you have to produce for a preliminary plan. Therefore, it's rejected and is deemed not submitted. Planning board, just now we move into the disapprovals, and these disapprovals don't carry nearly as much weight. You can disapprove a preliminary plan, and they can just come right back with a definitive plan and fix all the things you disapproved and move forward, and that's no problem, establishing the grandfathering. So it's I think the crux of things are right here, 1, 2, and 3. But probably makes sense to disapprove it because it's so disapprovable. Planning board disapproves the plan because it does not comply with the town of Shutesbury zoning bylaw section open space design. So none of that is incorporated into the plans. Planning board disapproves the plan because it does not include content as required in the Shutesbury regulations. So they didn't give us, the town, what it wanted, so we disapprove. And then finally, back up here where in 6, where we found no public purpose in giving the waivers, planning board denies the requested waivers of compliance with the regulations covering the subdivision of land. So 6 findings, 6 decisions. The votes are all in the affirmative. All these are worded in the affirmative, so the votes would be in the affirmative, and there are no conditions. And that's that.
Okay.
Just need to vote or discuss.
Well, I think, yes, let's discuss first.
Well, I think that the motion would be to approve the decision as written and then a discussion. Because the whole point of this meeting is to approve these decisions as written, that they reflect what you voted last time.
I'll move to approve the Roaring Brook subdivision as written.
Robert, second.
Okay, discussion?
I think it's very comprehensive and reflects what we talked about last time.
Okay. Well,
Robert, I also think it's very educational.
okay, anything more? I'll call the roll. Going by who I can see on the screen, Michael,
De Chiara, aye.
Jeff,
Lacy, aye.
Steve,
Aye.
Robert,
Aye.
Linda,
Aye.
I'm an aye. It's unanimous. Okay, so Dean Brook,
Okay, let me get back to. Let me get back to a place where I can pull it up.
Donna, do you think we should make the motion on the front end, or does it not matter?
It doesn't matter, wherever you're more comfortable with it.
Okay.
I mean, the point of the minutes is to show you really went through them and everybody, had say on whether they liked the way the decision appeared or not, and whether it reflected the meeting last time.
Okay. Here we are at, let's see, are we at Dean Brook? Yes, we're at Dean Brook, which is number 2. So most of this is all the same with the appropriate things filled out. One thing they did do is they used the same book and page number for Dean Brook as Nurse Brook. Probably in haste. So I have left these highlighted. I don't know what to do about that, Donna.
I would just put in where I could find room in the form, incorrect reference.
I don't know which is the incorrect reference. I suspect it's the next one.
Do all 4 have the same error?
No,
No.
just these 2.
Are you sure it's not the same deed?
Well,
I mean, they're both on Pratt Corner. It says parcel 2 and parcel 6.
they don't
So
touch. They don't touch. They
No,
don't-
Roaring Brook is on Carver and Montague.
no, I'm talking about Dean and Nurse,
Yeah.
ones that have the similar one. And it's one says that Dean is parcel 2 and that Nurse is parcel 6. So it might be the right reference. It may be a deed of a huge parcel.
No. All right. Let's just leave them like that for now, I guess, until we
Yeah,
find out.
It's
But-
sort of immaterial in terms of the decision and the findings.
Yeah, this stuff is not going to be this is not going to be recorded, I don't believe.
No, you don't record preliminary decisions.
Right. So, okay, here we go. Same thing. July 13th submission, Dean Brook, all the information about it. And then now I'll try to be quicker. Here is the same bit on submission. Okay, same findings we make on submission, that it was July 13th when the planning board first had this application. Same thing on the plan showing division of tract into 2 or more lots, where every lot has frontage on a public way, Pratt Corner Road. Same thing about maybe different details about not meeting the state requirements for what you have to hand in, the scale issue, the names of all the abutters being not from the local tax list as they're supposed to be, but from GIS web mapping, and then a truly prodigious list of discrepancies that Michael was able to dig up.
Jeff, this is Miriam. Can I interrupt for a second? Is
Sure.
there an error in the item above that you just scrolled past? Is it supposed to be 81L? You have a 41.
Did I do that again? Oh.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Should make sure on each of them you check that.
Okay. We'll watch these 41s and 81s. Okay. So many discrepancies here, all listed out. Tedious to go through, but they just show that GIS is not the same as assessor's information. And assessor's information is what the state statute requires. So let's see. Existing lines of streets, ways, easements, and any public areas. Reed Road is not shown. And Reed Road is like Carver Road, very prominent on that piece of land. And other old ways are also not shown. Quite a few old ways in that property, bounded by rock walls that were probably at one point town roads. None of that is shown. Adjacent natural waterways, Dean Brook, namesake brook is not shown. The wetlands and culvert water crossing between the proposed street and Reed Road are not shown. That's up near Pratt Corner Road where it water collects and then runs in a culvert to the west across Pratt Corner Road. That's that's where the existing solar farm drains out, and that's not shown. So I did note that no information is given on the width of Pratt Corner Road, either its layout or travel lanes in the area where the proposed street is shown on the plan, and Reed Road is not shown. So they talk about Pratt Corner Road in other areas, but there's no information, and it's actually drawn more narrowly right where they're proposing a new street. And there's no information about the layout or travel lanes of Pratt Corner Road, right? Probably where that information would be of the most benefit. Okay, so that's all the statutory shortcomings. And then again, no open space design. That's true with all of these. They're supposed to comply with that. Number 5 is our Shutesbury requirements, what they have to hand in, scale again, and then we require the full names and mailing addresses of all the abutters as determined by the local tax list. Instead, the list is based on the GIS. So here again, an extensive list of discrepancies that just keeps going and going and going all the way down to here. And then existing and proposed lines of streets, ways, easements in any public areas. Reed Road and other old ways are not shown. Adjacent existing natural waterways, Dean Brook not shown. Culverted water crossing between the proposed street and Reed Road are not shown. Again, this is repetitious with the state requirements. Names, location, width of adjacent streets, no information given on the width of Pratt Corner Road, either it's layered in the area where I just said that, shown on the plan. Reed Road not shown. And this is, we also call for major site features to be shown. So again, Reed Road and other internal old ways are not shown, and the existing large-scale ground-mounted solar electric institution on Lot 2 is not shown. And then finally, waivers of compliance. Board does not find it in the public interest to grant such waivers. And then we get out of the decisions. And the decisions, again, match up with the findings. planning board has determined that this is not a subdivision plan. However, the subdivision plan, the earliest date of submittal to the planning board would be on July 13th, 2020. Let's see, I think I have a comma coming right there. Planning board rejects the plan because it does not meet the definition of subdivision. Again, it divides up 2 tracks and both have frontage, adequate frontage on Pratt Corner Road. Therefore, it is rejected as not a subdivision and is deemed not submitted. And plan does not show all the minimum statutorily required items in 4181L. So it is rejected as incomplete and is deemed not submitted. No open space design, so it's disapproved. Planning board disapproves again because it doesn't have the required Shutesbury content. And we deny the requested waivers. And there are the votes.
So I'll move to approve the Dean Brook subdivision decision as written.
Robert seconds.
That was Robert?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Discussion?
I would say this is comprehensive and reflects the conversation from our last meeting.
Anybody else?
No, I would agree.
Okay. Okay, I've stopped hearing anybody, so I'll call the roll. Michael?
Dick-Yara, aye.
Jeff?
Lacy, aye.
Robert?
Aye.
Steve?
Aye.
Linda?
Aye.
I'm an aye. Okay, we've done it. Nurse Brooke?
Okay, coming at you. Okay, let me make sure I'm on Nurse Brooke. Yep. Okay, Nurse Brooke is the last one. This is the one farther down Pratt Corner Road. And again, same thing up top, and here we have the same book and page reference. Again, I've left them highlighted for now. Same thing through here. I'm trying to think of what, if any, differences there are in here. I mean, all these plans are a little different, but they seem to have narrowed down to the same problems.
The same typo in 2.
Excuse me?
Same typo in 2 that Miriam pointed out last time.
Where is?
41L at the bottom.
Okay, thank you.
And we'll all help you remember the comma too.
So,
What about in 1, the same thing?
where, what? Oh,
No, that's correct.
No.
It's 81S.
4181S.
Okay.
Okay, so so the first one talks about our findings on when it was submitted, July 13th. The second one talks about how it's not a subdivision because it results in 2 lots that have adequate frontage on Pratt Corner Road. And if anybody's really interested in this language, I can read it to you, but it's straight out of the definition of subdivision, where these types of divisions are excluded from the definition of subdivision. So they could have been drawn differently, but they weren't. Number 3, here are all the statutory requirements, and it's really all the same stuff. Scale. Don't let me forget that comma. I can't remember where it goes now. So, and then the big problem with all the abutters coming from the GIS and not the local tax list. So that starts here and it goes down all the way. Whoa.
Jeff, this
Right
isn't
down
very,
there.
you've got Early Sideman is it Earl? You see the names? I thought his name was Irving Sideman, but maybe it's actually.
No, it's Earl.
Okay, but it's not Hurley. The next line.
Next line.
Yeah.
Is that a typo on the plan or is that?
I can tell you short in a moment. Oh. Jeff, you can keep going. I'll come back and let you know.
Okay. All right. So there's a ton of these. All right. So then existing lines of streets, ways, easements, and any public areas within the subdivision. The electric transmission easement at 491 Pratt. Oh, we're still in. Hold on. Okay. I'm going to have to ask you something in a second, Michael.
Okay. So it is Earl, no Y. Miriam is correct. That was probably I'll blame Microsoft.
So not early, we get rid of early.
Yeah.
Earl. Sester. So we still, this is still a valid point though.
Yeah, everything else is the same.
Okay, so where does this end? Okay, existing lines of streets in any public areas. Electric transmission easement at 491 Pratt.
Right.
Probably we need Corner Road.
Correct. And
Is
so they
shown-
have, there's an arrow pointing to vaguely the area. There's no actual lines that show where the easement is.
Okay. Not depicted with lines, not sheet 2. Electric transmission easement lines at Pratt Corner and Sand Hill. Not depicted with lines. Okay, so this is all okay with you.
Yeah.
Michael helped a lot with Dean and Nurse because that's his that's his turf over there. Adjacent existing natural waterways, Nurse and Dean Brooks are not shown on this one. Okay, so that's all the stuff that's wrong from a statutorily required perspective. And then we go to the open space. Again, no evidence of open space design from our zoning bylaw. And then we go to our own preliminary subdivision regulation requirements. And
We should just fix the early thing in there.
I think I did.
No. Under the town one, number 5.
Oh. While we're thinking of it?
Yeah, right there. Cool.
Okay. Same thing here. Scale problems, full names and mailing addresses. And this is really the same list. Runs down. Okay, runs down to there. And the next one is the existing and proposed lines of streets, easements, public areas, electric transmission easement at 491 Pratt. Corner Road is shown by arrow, not depicted with lines. Electric transmission easements lines at Pratt Corner and Sand Hill not depicted with lines. Okay, 5. Adjacent existing natural waterways, Nurse and Dean Brook are not shown. And 9, other major site features, the existing cemetery and electrical substation on Pratt Corner Road are not shown. Okay. And then we don't find it in the public interest to grant any waivers. Now we're on to the decisions. And again, they correspond with the findings. The middle is the 13th. We decide that.
That's with your comma, if a subdivision
Oh.
plan.
Thank you.
Welcome.
So the next one is application is rejected because it's not a subdivision, not deemed submitted because both the lots created have frontage on Montague Road. So, and this has been the same all the way through. Planning board rejects the plan. It doesn't have the statutorily required elements.
Montague Road there?
What?
Do you want Montague Road there in 2?
Oh, it should be back corner, right? In the parentheses.
Ooh, ooh, ooh. Thank you, thank you, thank you. No matter how many times you read these darn things. Okay, good catch.
You should check the prior one too, just to make sure afterwards. The Dean
Okay.
Brook one.
I will. Okay, so show minimum statutory requirements. Doesn't show the statutorily required elements, so it's rejected as incomplete and deemed not submitted. Again, no open space design, so it's disapproved. Doesn't include all the content is required in the local regulations, so it's disapproved. And the waivers are, again, rejected as not being in the public interest. And here are the votes.
So I will move to approve the Nursebrook subdivision decision as written.
Robert seconds.
Okay. Discussion?
I think it's comprehensive and reflects the conversation from last meeting.
Boilerplate
Is that a
language.
recorded message?
Up.
Are you a robot?
Okay, so I'll take it that there's no more discussion. I'll call the roll. Michael,
Dick Yara, aye.
Jeff,
Lacy, aye.
Linda,
Aye.
Robert,
Aye.
Steve,
Aye.
I'm an aye. Did I get everybody?
Linda?
I got Linda.
I was an aye.
Yeah, yeah. I think I did get everybody. I was just making sure. So, shall we move on? Shall we move on to Baker Brook?
Yep, I'm just trying to get it up.
So Donna, what do the recusniks need to do during this phase?
Recuse themselves and not talk.
Okay, do we still have video?
Yeah, I don't, I mean, if you want to get off the video, you can.
Okay, can you guys see this?
Yeah.
It makes
Okay.
it just clearer you're not participating, so.
Okay. I'm really tempted to have everyone else walk through this since you've heard it 3 times, but I won't test you. So this is the decision regarding Baker Brook subdivision. And as Jeff said, it's the same format that we use. So we didn't confer on content, but we did confer on the template. So this is case number 4 of the 4. The decision date's today. The one change, this has actually got 2 parcels. So the only change is it's got those 2, but it's 2 lines versus 1. Submission date is the same, July 13th as discussed, and the meeting dates. So the one big difference between the 3 that Jeff just reviewed and this one is that this one actually is a subdivision statutorily in the sense that the lots don't necessarily have adequate frontage. So unlike, that's the only difference. So rather than having 6 points, this only has 5. So I'll walk through, and most of it will be repetitive. So the first one is in terms of the submission date, that we determined based on statute that the decision date is July 13th. That's the first date that the full board had the application before it. That was our finding number 1. Finding number 2, so because we didn't have that other finding about it not being defined statutorily as subdivision, that's not included. So we go directly to the next one, which is what statute requires to be included to be a preliminary plan. And this is that long list. So just like in the ones Jeff talked about, it's not to the right scale. The names are taken from GIS mapping as opposed to the tax list. And all of these guys are all the inaccuracies based on that. Then we get down to adjacent waterways.
Robert Raymond, spelled right? Oh, you got a D. I got a T on mine. Okay.
Yeah, no, I fixed it in the subsequently. And then I think this is true for everyone. It's just ironic that every subdivision.
Michael?
Yes.
Michael?
Yeah.
You got Daniel Greenbridge, isn't it Greenberg?
Yeah.
It's supposed to be. It's supposed to be Green. That's the typo.
Oh, all right.
It's listed on the plan as Greenbridge. His name is Greenberg.
Okay.
So that was the most obvious one we caught last time before I dug into it. So in terms of adjacent existing natural waterways, Baker Brook is not shown and Dean Brook is not shown. And then there's a long year-round pond, a big year-round pond just south of Baker Road across from number 7, which is not shown. And then the names and approximate location of adjacent streets, there's no information about the width of Schoolhouse Road, either its layout or its traveled lane. So nothing about the width of Schoolhouse. So those are the statutory deficiencies. Then we get to Article 5. Just like the other ones, there was nothing in there that complied with open space design requirements per the town. So we're now into the town requirements. Number 4 is all the town requirements in terms of a definition of a preliminary plan. So again, it's the correct scale. Then the fact that the names are all wrong and there's inconsistencies and errors because they took it from GIS mapping data as opposed to the assessor's list. This part is redundant as above. Baker, in terms of adjacent natural waterways, Baker Brook is not shown and Dean Brook is not shown. And then the pond just south of number 7 Baker is not shown, which is a year-round significant body of water.
Hey, Michael,
Yeah,
the thing on Edward Vendette, up above where you just had, is that an error in the thing or is that an error in your document?
there's an error in the thing.
Okay, all right, fine.
Let's see. Okay, and then similarly, the names and location of adjacent streets. So there's no information given on the width of Schoolhouse, either the layout or traveled lanes. And then in terms of other major features, the culverts between the underneath the Baker Road access road are not shown. So this is the access off of Baker into the site, and there's culverts that should be noted. And these are the town requirements. And then similar to the other ones, the waivers were requested were found to be not in the public interest, so they were not granted. So these are the 5 findings. We have one less statutory finding because it is a subdivision in terms of the frontage requirement or lack thereof. So the 5 decisions are that the planning board determined the submittal date to be June 13th. We don't need a comma because there's one less sentence, I believe. The planning board is rejecting this because it didn't meet the minimum statutory requirements for what's required in a preliminary subdivision plan. The planning board is disapproving the plan because it doesn't comply with the Shutesbury zoning bylaw requirements for open space. And then the planning board is disapproving it because it doesn't meet the required content of our town regulations for governing subdivision land. And then lastly, the planning board denies the requested waivers, which are compliance with the regulations at the town level. So those are the 5 decisions. And those are the votes. Jeff, you're muted.
Can't talk.
He needs to be muted.
In fact, we should take this opportunity to say whatever we want about Jeff since he can't say
There
anything
you
else.
go.
Anything back.
That's right.
This is Miriam. Can Jeff have a yes vote here?
No.
No.
That needs to be taken
Oh,
out.
that's, yay.
That's
Oh,
right.
that's why he's muted. He's not allowed to talk.
Right.
Yay. Okay.
And I'm watching him like a hawk. I'll mute that mic as soon as he tries to unmute it.
Actually, so let's see. So there's Bressler, me. So this has got to be,
Robert should be off too.
yeah. Oh, we have Deacon Rotundi. No, who's Bressler?
Yes.
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, we have everybody we need.
We have 4. We have 4.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes, though. Get rid of the extra yes. There you go.
Okay, cool. Great. Thank you, everybody. Team effort.
Looks
Who wants
like
to make a motion?
Sorry to interrupt. There's a minor typo there, of land separation. Just above where you are.
Yeah.
On number 5 there.
Done.
Okay. Okay. I haven't heard a motion yet on this one.
I'll make a motion to accept this decision on the Baker Road preliminary subdivision plan.
I'll second.
Discussion?
I think it's really comprehensive and reflects the discussion from last meeting.
Hearing nothing new, I'll call the roll. Okay, Michael,
Take care. Aye.
Linda,
Aye.
Steve,
Aye.
I'm an aye. It's done.
Okay, I will stop sharing if I can figure out how to do that. Stop sharing. Here we go.
What were we going to check the Nurse Brook one?
It was the
What?
Dean Brook one, just for the road.
Yeah.
Check that. It's okay.
Okay. Good. Good. Well, that was good. Shall we move on to discuss a new prospective member for the planning board?
So do you not need me anymore?
Well, before Donna goes, can we just, and because Linda's retiring, so to speak, soon, what's the process for, these have to get signed and what happens to them?
Right. Deacon will have to sign the final versions. So Jeff and Michael will have to, finalize all the edits and send them to Deacon and myself. Deacon will have to print them out and sign them and deliver them to the town clerk because the town clerk has to receive the original.
Cool.
Right.
Okay.
I thought I did have a couple of questions. Since we're faced with all these recusals, possibly having three recusals on the Baker Road solar project. How does the rule of necessity work on that?
Well, it depends. Yeah, if in fact you're going to need to use the rule of necessity, then in fact what happens is that Deacon, you will send me as chair basically an email saying that you need a supermajority vote and that 3 out of the 7 planning board members have a conflict and basically describe the conflict. Then I'll rule that it is a conflict and the rule of necessity needs to be used. I'll get that back to you in writing an email. And then essentially what you do is then for those special permit hearings and procedures, you'll basically declare that the rule of necessity needs to be used. The 3 planning board members that have a conflict will state it on the record. Excuse me, you'll put on the record that I said you could do the rule of necessity. You invoke the rule of necessity and they participate fully.
Okay. And I had one more question. When I looked at the general laws, the zoning board establishment stuff mentioned the possibility of alternate members. The planning board section did not mention alternate members. Are alternate members possible for the planning board?
Yes, that's in section 9 of 40A under special permits.
Okay, thank
And
you.
does each body have to vote on that, Donna, to accept it, or is it just
No,
that's
for planning board special permit associate members, it's not alternate for planning boards, it's associate. It's a zoning bylaw change, I think. I'm pretty sure.
So, so if we wanted to have associate members, we'd have to go through a zoning change.
Right, and I think I don't know if you can have 1 or 2 with a 7-member board. It's all right there in the statute.
Okay, great.
Is that just for the purposes of special permits, or can it work for subdivisions too, if you have
You
all?
don't need them for, it's just for special permits. So a planning board that doesn't grant special permits doesn't have the authority to have associate members.
Okay.
And can I ask one other question before Donna goes? Deacon, you were asking that first question just depending on the future membership of the planning board and the possibility of future special permits?
If Alan Hansen were to become a member of the planning board, we would have 3 people with a Baker Road situation.
Right. And the special permits are nothing that's before us, but if that was something that evolved.
Yeah, and we couldn't get a supermajority of 7 out of 7 with 3 recusals.
Yeah, no, I get that. I just wanted to understand the context. That makes sense.
Yeah, okay.
I think you're free, Donna.
Those were my questions for Donna.
All right, good night all.
Thank you, Donna.
Good night.
Welcome. Have a good evening.
Good night, Donna. See you in court.
So we have found ourselves in the unusual situation of 2 possible volunteers for appointment to the planning board. So I've invited both Alan Hansen and Mary David to come talk to us. If Alan or Mary wants to start by.
Deacon, before we do that, can it seems like it might be helpful just to review what the process is so that we're all, including Mary and Alan, clear on what the process is. So, because we're not deciding tonight, it's a select board.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. The planning, the members, the existing members of the planning board and the select board meet jointly and by majority vote appoint a member to finish out Jim Aaron's term. It'd be he has 1 year to go, or he had 1 year to go before he resigned.
And Linda, when did we determine that was through? Was it June 30th? It was.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Of next year.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so, we're not at all used to having people clamoring to join the board. It is really an odd situation, and I'm glad to see you both here.
Yeah, it's usually the other way around. People are running.
Of course.
They've seen what we have to do.
It's the deal where you ask, for volunteers to step forward and everybody else steps back.
Yeah.
Leaving.
So we're very pleased.
Right.
Thank you.
Robert already attested it was an educational evening already. So, there's benefit to being on this thing.
Yes.
So Deacon, from the looks of it, my presence on the planning board would cause problems with the Baker Road plots.
Well, what I heard from Donna tonight would suggest that it's not a problem because there would be so many. I mean, if it were only two, we would still have the power it would still be possible to have a supermajority. But with three recusals, it's not. So at that point, the rule of necessity comes into play. And if there were three Baker Road members, they'd all be able to vote.
Yeah, we had this on the select board when we had to do the pilot for Wheelock, because all three of us were abutters. So we had to claim the rule of necessity for that reason as well.
So this is not a new situation.
No, but I was asking Donna because we've never had it really. We've never gotten a clear answer as it would apply to the planning board, because it really comes into play on the supermajority situations.
Okay.
I'm not sure if I'll have to do this yet, but State Ethics Commission does provide that someone who's technically a party in interest, and I am a party in interest on Baker because I touched that Coles piece at one corner. There's like one corner of touching, but where I understand the solar farm is being proposed is probably a quarter mile from that corner. Nowhere near my property, not visible from it, detectable from it, anywhere near it. So what state ethics says you can do is you can get an appraiser to look at the situation and give you an affidavit that says that your property's value will not be affected either way by this project. And then you can submit that to the State Ethics Commission and they can de-recuse you, allow you to participate.
Is the assessor making that decision a foregone conclusion?
It's a, well, it's not the Shutesbury assessor. It's a private professional assessor that you would engage.
And I mean, is it possible, I guess I'm asking, for this assessor to say, yes, there will be an impact on the value of your property one way or the other? Which could,
yeah, and then you're recused.
Right, okay.
So can I just clarify so I'm making sure I'm not confused? So we just went through this very long process in terms of the 4 subdivision plans, which at least the sense was they were submitted as a foot in the door if a developer wanted to create a solar installation on those 4 sites. But given what we voted, unless that's appealed or litigated, that part of the equation is done. There's always the option for the developer to do something. But in terms of a special permit, what we're discussing now is hypothetical because 1, we don't have one, and 2, it would have, presumably if our decision held with the submission date of July 13th, it would have to adhere to the updated, recently approved solar bylaws, which I would assume preclude location on on Baker Road, because it's not paved, unless they went through the not paved options. But am I understanding this correctly?
Construction access without a waiver, construction access from Baker Road wouldn't be possible. There are other paved roads that they could come in off of.
Right, West Pelham and Pelham Hill.
And Pelham Hill, which I don't think they want to, but those are paved roads that also can get you into that site.
Right, but I'm just clarifying. We're sort of talking about hypotheticals, and this might happen, but we're presuming it could be a potential.
Well, I would say too that my guess is that no, a developer is is going to ask for a waiver from the paving requirement if the road isn't paved. And we'll have to consider that. I can't imagine that anyone is going to volunteer to pave a road.
Right, but they also have the alternative in the new zone.
That's what I'm saying, that they'll have to, that's the route that I would expect them to take, that they would ask for the alternative. I can't imagine them not asking.
Right.
And so if a developer was interested in that site, and if they wanted to take the alternative to not paving and have access on Baker Road, then the body in question would, if it did include Alan and not Mary, we would have to do the rule of necessity so that the waiver could be considered by the planning board.
Yeah, we'd have
Okay.
to.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and I think we should expect that they would do that.
Yeah, one thing we didn't in the new bylaw is we didn't say, well, you could pave, or well, you could fix up and maintain the dirt road. We left it open as to what they might propose. So here it says you can't construct from a dirt road, but they really want to construct from Baker Road. So they come to us with proposals of, what they're going to do for Baker Road, and in order to gain this waiver. And we probably listen to what the neighbors have to say and evaluate whether it's a good offer in the town's interest, and think about whether we're going to give them a waiver. You can give them the waiver or not give them the waiver. And if we don't give them the waiver, it doesn't, it just means they got to go look at those other two spots where they might get in, or look for another site.
Right. I'm just saying that they will ask. They're not going to voluntarily pave the road.
Yeah, but if this goes back to trying to see who is the next member of the planning board, I think the discussion is moot.
Yeah, that's right.
Hypothetical.
Yeah.
So most of you know me anyway. So in fact, I've butted heads with a few of you. So why don't we hear from Mary? I'll ask any questions, but let's hear from Mary.
Please.
So hi, my name is Mary David, and I have recently retired to my home, which we've owned since 1986 on Lake Wyola. So I am back in the area. So I've been a nurse for over 40 years, and most of my experience is in nursing. But now that I'm back here full time, I was looking for opportunities to get involved in the community and give back to the community. I saw this opportunity and thought this would be a good way to get to know the community and to grow. Like I said, my experience is mostly in nursing, but I have management experience. I've worked on boards and planning in the healthcare arena, building some hospitals, and so I'm used to regulations and looking at all of those kinds of things just in a different aspect. So I would be looking to see if those skills would translate to me being able to be a functioning member on the board, and kind of find my place in the community of where I'd like to give back a little bit to doing that.
And we haven't put you off yet.
No, no, you haven't.
Give us a chance. We will.
Mary, where were you living full time prior to retiring?
So I came here, I was up in Burlington, Vermont, working at University of Vermont Medical Center. My family, so I grew up in Springfield. I raised my family. I have 2 boys in Long Meadow. So I have one son that lives in Long Meadow. My other son lives in Arlington, Virginia, and works for the military. And so I spent most of my career, I trained at Springfield Hospital. I worked my first 20 years at Bay State Medical Center, and then I kind of traveled around a little. I was down in Virginia where I helped build a hospital in Norton, Virginia. I was a vice president of nursing in a small rural hospital in Southwest Virginia. And then I wanted to get closer to home to be close to my granddaughter. So I came back up to Burlington to finish out my career up in Burlington. Most of my specialty was critical care, emergency room, trauma nursing, spent a lot of time in emergency management, was in charge of their Ebola response or their disease of high consequence as it later became at the University of Vermont. So I have various experiences that could relate, but not necessarily on a planning board. You know, I've been on a board.
Well, when you consider the age cohort of this planning board, those skills may come in handy some evenings.
Yeah, that would be true. That would be true.
There.
I have had some experience on boards, you know, when my kids were growing up. I was on the Temple board, the sisterhood, you know, the religious school board, you know, so I've been on some community boards, but in a selective area, not learning property law and planning and all of those kinds of regulations.
Well, this is not a reflection on my opinion one way or the other, but if for some reason you weren't on the planning board, I am sure the Board of Health or Emergency Management would want to scoop you up in a second. So.
Well, thank you. Like I said, now that I'm settled in here, I am taking a look at all of those things. They tried to talk me into being on the part of the voter application board. So yes. And I've had some conversation with Chief Tibbetts.
Okay.
So I'm trying to find my way back in since I'm going to be here full time now.
That's great. Welcome back to town.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing.
So I just have one question. You know, is this really an either or if you have two volunteers, since this is kind of an unusual situation? Is there an opportunity to do both people and have one vote, or I'm not sure what all the rules are for doing that.
I think without my understanding is that without the zoning change that Donna mentioned, that it is either or.
Okay.
I mean, she was saying that with a zoning change, we could have an associate member, but a zoning change doesn't happen overnight.
No. Okay, but anybody have, whoops, that's my lights blinking, sorry. Does anybody have questions for me that I can answer a little more about myself or my background?
I guess, you know, it'd be helpful, at least for me, you know, and I'm guessing when we meet with the select board, we might have some discussion as well, but maybe for, you know, for both of you, just what interests you about being on the planning board in particular? Since, you know, Alan, you've been on lots of things, and Mary, you're already, you know, there's many places you could land. So, you know, what makes this particular opportunity something that's compelling?
So I think for me, the planning board gives me a lot of opportunity to really see how decisions are made in the community in regards to property and in regards to zoning and protecting the land and conservation, all of which I'm interested in. I'm gonna have to go turn my light off in a minute.
It'll turn itself off.
It might, the way it's going here. But it seemed like a good opportunity to get started and to learn about the towns and learn about a lot of the processes as I'm trying to figure out where I might really land in the future, or maybe I'll do more than one thing. But it seemed like it was an opportunity that kind of just fell into my lap at the right time when I was looking to get involved, and it seems like I might have skills that could be valuable in this scenario.
Thank you. How about you, Alan?
I was talking to Jeff and he said there was an opening. and given the fact that there's usually 0 or 1 people volunteering, I volunteered just to fill in the opening. I mean, I do have an interest in a planning board, but it's not an overwhelming desire to. I have no background in planning, but it doesn't sound like Mary does either.
Yeah.
So. Does that answer your question, or would you like?
Yeah, I was just running around in the back of my head. I was thinking, well, the most compelling benefit you could bring is that you could replace me as the CPC member from the planning board.
Yeah, I thought about that too. Right, because I technically don't belong on that committee.
Right. But you've earned it.
Well, maybe.
Well,
So,
that's a
okay.
good, that's a good introduction to the two candidates. I
Yeah.
never met Mary before, so it's great to do so. To hear from you both.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Okay.
Deacon, have you talked to Melissa at all about getting together with the select board and how they want to do it?
Oh, I mean, not yet.
Okay.
I think we should, I mean, I wanted the board to meet with our two possible people before we went further. I was really surprised that we had two people willing.
Yeah, I was too.
It seems like an embarrassment of riches.
Well, I've been involved in enough volunteer things to know that it is hard to get committed volunteers.
Yeah. Linda, is there a time frame? I know there's some dates attached to this, but was it for us to notify the select board?
Yes, I think that you have to, didn't Donna say,
I was going to look at my emails, but I
was going to look in the minutes from the last meeting. 30 days, the planning board needs to report the vacancy to the select board. Then the planning board and select board meet to choose a candidate to complete the term.
So once we tell them we don't have a time frame for a meeting together, that's just at our convenience.
Well, so you can fill the vacancy.
Yeah, but when, there's no clock attached to it.
Well, I mean, I think now that we've met with Alan and Mary, that we should probably move promptly. I mean, we are down a member.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm pleased to get in touch with Melissa. We should do it soon. I mean, now that we've spoken.
But do you want me to go away?
I have one question.
Please.
Alan and Mary, I'm just wondering, are either of you able to say now whether you might have an interest in running for the planning board after your 1 year appointment is over?
Well, from my perspective, Bob, that just whatever happens, happens. I mean, it depends on what goes on at the end of the session. But yeah, when I said before, I really had no strong feelings. I do. I mean, I've been looking around for some place in town after I left the finance committee, 4 years ago, and I've been seriously thinking about that maybe, and then this came up. So I've just been thinking about a lot of things. I haven't made any decisions one way or the other.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be the same thing for me. I think I'd like to see, do I have a way that I can contribute to the committee over the next year, as well as see, if there's any other opportunities that could better fit me. This may be a perfect fit. I don't really know the answer right now. But I am committed to doing something. I'm just not sure I want to make sure this would be a right fit for everybody.
Thank you.
Linda, can you just I'm assuming the select board's going to want us to meet on a Tuesday when they meet. Mm-hmm. So could you just give us the next few dates that they're meeting?
Sure. Hang on just for a sec. So they're actually meeting this week on Wednesday.
Yeah, I see that.
However, the following meeting would be on the 18th of August. And then
September 1st.
Yes, though they do have a policy of not meeting on an election day, so I don't know when, if what they're going to decide on that. But they usually, now that we're meeting by Zoom, they might decide differently. But they never did hold meetings on election day.
Oh, is the 1st a primary day?
It is.
Yes.
Okay.
And do you have a sense, is there room on the agenda if we wanted to meet on the 18th? Just since we're here, we could figure out if we're even available.
I think that if you indicated to Becky and Melissa that you wanted to be on the agenda for the 18th, I think that would be a good plan to, let them know now, as soon as you can. Because,
Yeah.
I don't know what's coming forward. So, but there are always things that are timely and need attention like this.
Yeah.
So would you like us to sign off so you guys can have more discussion on this?
No, let's talk. I mean, let's find out from the members if the 18th is a good date for them. Let's confirm that.
I'm good.
I'm good.
This is a joint meeting.
Yeah. I mean, I'll suggest a joint meeting for that date if the members are good with that.
I, Robert, have a conflict on that date. I'm wondering, am I needed or is there a quorum otherwise?
I don't think we need a quorum. It's just a matter if you want to participate, but.
I think you do need a quorum, don't you, if you're going to vote?
Oh, I guess we have to act, yeah. Well, yeah, it'd be an official meeting. We would have a quorum, right? Deacon, can you do it?
Yeah, oh, sure.
And Linda can do it, and Jeff can do it, and Steve can do it. So we would have a quorum.
Yeah, I think I think in the interest of speed, if Robert has a problem that day, we should go ahead anyway.
Okay.
I mean, and I'll suggest to Becky and Melissa the 18th and see what they say.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And do you think should we find out, does it make sense if Mary and Alan are at that meeting? It seems like that would make sense. The select board hasn't met them. Well, met Alan, but not Mary.
I think that's a good idea. I mean, if they're willing.
Yeah.
So what date are you talking about again?
The appointment process consists of a joint meeting of the planning board and the select board.
Right.
And a majority of the planning board members and select board members is needed to choose.
Yeah, so I was asking what date are you thinking about?
The 18th of August.
18th of August.
Yeah, I could be available if need be.
Okay, good.
And once it gets closer, though, the select board agenda is put together, there'll be a time assigned, so you'll
Okay.
know
Okay,
when.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so I think my sense is we've wrapped up the discussion of future member. I mean, unless somebody has something more to say.
I guess not.
I don't hear anything.
Yeah.
My
Actually, Deacon, I have one suggestion.
please.
If we confirm the 18th, it might be helpful just to forward Mary's email, and I think Alan sent an email, I can't remember, but whatever was written stating interest to the select board, so at least they have that.
Yeah, sure.
I sent mine to Deacon and it was kind of yeah, that's okay, it's fine.
Yeah.
Yours was tongue in cheek.
I was cracking some jokes.
Yes.
Probably shouldn't have.
Well, I don't know. Levity is a big help.
No, Alan, this is very serious work.
I know, I noticed that. I'll do my best, Steve.
Okay.
Okay. Well, let's close this part of the meeting and move on to the minutes. We have 3 sets.
Thank you both, by the way.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Would you like us to stay or not?
I think it's up to you. We're going to move on to other topics.
Okay. I may just sit and listen for a little while.
Okay. It'll be very exciting and
I'm
educating.
sure it will. When I disappear, it's probably from pure boredom.
So Deacon, you want me to move on the minutes?
Yeah. Yeah. Why don't we start with the 22nd of June?
Yep. I'll move to approve the minutes of June 22nd, 2020.
Okay. Second,
Second that.
discussion. Hearing none, I'll call the roll.
Oh, I had one thing. This is really, really teeny, Linda. I apologize. I forgot to tell you.
Oh,
It's really teeny.
okay.
On page 5,
Yep.
near the top on the right-hand side, it says West Pelham and Pelham Hills. Just got to get rid of the S.
Page 5.
5.
Oh, Pelham, West Pelham and Pelham Hill. Oh, yeah. Okay. Got it.
That's it.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay, so so the motion is to accept the minutes of June 22nd as amended.
I'll make that motion.
Okay.
Okay, wait can you wait just 1 second? I was trying to save the document and of course my computer didn't want to hurry up. Okay, sorry, I'm back.
Okay, so
So the motion is as amended.
as amended, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll call the roll. Michael,
Take care. Aye.
Linda,
Aye.
Jeff,
Lacy, aye.
Steve,
Aye.
Robert,
Aye.
I'm an aye. Okay. And June 26th,
I'll move to approve the minutes of June 26, 2020.
second,
Second.
Steve?
okay. Discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the roll. Michael,
Take care. Abstain.
Linda,
Aye.
Jeff,
Aye.
Steve,
Aye.
Robert,
Aye.
I'm an aye. Okay. And July 13.
I'll move to approve the minutes of July 13th, 2020.
Second,
Robert seconds.
okay. Discussion?
There were actions.
What?
Michael made some good catches.
Cool. Yeah. So I was just going to say I made 2 suggestions to Linda. One was a typo and one was just a suggestion for clarity. The only thing I just wanted to clarify, because it came up and I checked with Donna, is that throughout it reflects what we actually discussed in terms of the subdivisions, where, you know, the whole process whereby they didn't submit in the right process. During that meeting, we referred to it as section 81O. And Donna clarified that it was technically 81S. So we should keep it as O because that's what we talked about. But I just wanted to acknowledge that there was a difference between what we discussed and what ended up in the subdivision decision.
Okay.
So I just want to put that in the minutes, Michael. So it was that the references to O are actually S.
Yeah, and Jeff might be able to speak. There's a subtle difference between the 2 sections. I think they're both about timing for submission. One's more relevant than the other. And so
Okay.
Donna determined that 81S was the more relevant one.
Okay.
Yeah, the S
Thank
is
you.
unique to submission of preliminary plans, which these are.
Okay.
Look, there's another planning board member next to Linda, possible planning board member next to Linda.
What? Oh, there, yes.
I've been trying to wave, but I haven't gotten through. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so I'll call the roll. Michael,
Take care. Aye.
Linda, Linda's busy.
You're muted, Linda.
Well,
Aye.
Jeff,
Aye.
Steve,
Aye.
Robert,
Aye.
I'm an aye. We got it.
Hi there.
Yeah, yeah.
We're the talking heads in the boxes.
Yeah. I
Aye.
got
Nice to meet Linda's family.
I got an email from Gail Fleischiker suggesting that the planning board needed to name a web page editor. My sense is that
We already have one.
that's what yeah, that's right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I need to, but apparently I need to tell this to Gail Fleischiker. And I will, unless somebody thinks something different. Okay,
We're good.
we're good. I will note that somebody's phone's ringing. I'll note that I've been meeting with Becky, Penny, Chuck Damari about how we're going to deal with Linda's departure, with Linda Scott's departure. So we're working on it.
What's the discussion so far?
The posting has gone out, and the responses have been responses have come in. I'm hoping we go over the responses tomorrow.
Cool. Was it like an actual newspaper posting?
I believe, yeah, yeah.
Cool. Great.
Yeah.
Just responding to the agenda title, there's no replacing Linda.
I would agree.
Well, that's why there was a question mark in the agenda after the word replacement, because I don't think it's really possible.
Well,
I think we should take this opportunity to give Linda a round of applause for an incredible job that she's been doing.
Yay.
We are
Thank you, everybody.
Absolutely.
Thank you. And just remember, I knew 0 when I started. So, you know. Yep.
So we shouldn't expect the world from someone else?
Well, you know, just the willingness to learn. That's the most important thing. And being detail oriented, that, you know, organized and detail oriented. Those are the two most important, you know, and willingness to learn, because you have, you know, in order to really do a good job with the minutes, you have to have a willingness to understand and do research. You know, like the last set of minutes, I didn't know anything about subdivision, so statute or the town regulations. So I needed to do background work in order to bring the minutes to completion.
So Deacon, I have a suggestion.
Please.
If you guys are going to go over, you know, the responses to the ad, I'm assuming that, you know, maybe you and Penny and Chuck and Becky might be the, you know, the group that's, you know, doing interviews or whoever it's going to be. But, you know, normally the person exiting the job isn't part of the selection process. But, you know, since Linda's still part of the town and still going to work in the select board, I think it might, if everyone feels comfortable, it might be invaluable to have her input in terms of, you know, her estimation of who might be a successful candidate. Because I think, you know, some of those characteristics, like the detail, being detail oriented is essential, but also being willing to learn and having good sense of humor like Linda has. I mean, it's a survival thing. So just her perspective might be helpful.
I think that's a good idea.
It is a good idea. And
You'd be willing, Linda?
Yes, if I can be helpful, I think that, well, there's the very importance of the chair's perspective of what they need and what the boards and commissions need. And then there's also the fact that I know the job better than anybody else.
Yeah.
I know what a person needs to do behind the scenes. So if I can be helpful, I'm willing.
Thank you.
That'll be great. Your input's been invaluable. I don't know how we would have gotten through the solar project.
Me neither.
I mean, we would have had a terrible time.
That's, it's the behind the scenes part. That's why the emphasis on being willing to attend to the details is really important, because that's the stuff, behind the scenes, the abutter notifications, working with Deacon to make sure we do all the things we're supposed to do, which
I wouldn't be able to do by myself.
Yeah.
No, would be overwhelming.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's not casual. I mean, if you miss a
No.
deadline, there's implications. So
Right, we know because we did that.
It's happened. It's happened.
yeah, right. Well, it probably would happen more.
Even with our two heads, we did it. So.
Well,
Linda, how thick did that solar file get? It was enormous.
There's a big space in my drawer for that. It's like.
So,
yeah.
I mean, maintaining files is so important with these cases. If you ever have to go to court, you've got to have that file. And
that's what I mean about the detail orientation, is maintaining the files. And Mary will appreciate this, because I learned how to keep records because I used to be a nurse. That's how I learned to do, to keep records. So.
Yeah.
records are important. Records that you can access, that are in order, that are readily available. Beats my filing system anyway.
Yeah, mine too.
Well, I mean, that's the purpose of a clerk, is to keep the full record. I mean, the town clerk is required to keep the application and the decisions, but the clerk has all the other stuff. So anyway.
So.
Well, it's been an exemplary job you've done. And like I said the other night at the ZBA, I am perhaps the one individual most affected by your decision, because I'm on 2 of your boards.
I know. And,
well, that's part of the reason, Jeff, she might be leaving.
My friend, always waiting in the dark over there.
Yeah.
like a ghoul.
Yeah. You want to see light? Whoa.
All right, I guess I'm heading over to your house with a load of manure tomorrow, Steve. Just wait until you see where I'm going.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I hope we're getting a good deal on it.
Well, all except for where I'm going to put it.
I better be home for that.
Yeah. So before we close, I'll get decisions from Michael and Jeff, which I will file with Grace.
Yeah, I'll send mine tonight.
Okay.
Deacon, do you want hard copies of these things? Because I just printed them out for the heck of it. Or do you want to fool around with electronic ones?
Hard copies are good.
Jeff has those berries that he.
Okay. All right. So,
Deacon, would you prefer I could drop it off tomorrow in your mailbox, a hard copy?
That'd be great. Perfect.
Okay, I'll do that. Okay.
May I ask if both of you though would send me the final
Yes.
versions, even though they won't have Deacon signatures? I just would like to have those for the record.
Can do.
okay, Linda. Electronic. Okay. So, Deacon, where do you want them dropped?
In the mailbox or come down to the house, either way.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay. I think we can have dinner now.
Yes,
I'll move to
dinner.
adjourn.
Okay.
Second.
All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Jeff,
Thank
could you
you.
use these for your berry business?
No, Shutesbury people don't use plastic. I kid you not. I mean, the little green fiberboard ones are the ones they will take.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I should recycle this instead of reusing it.
Well, that's up to you, but as far as my selling it, it will be seen as deeply politically incorrect.
Well, at least the other things are compostable. But yeah, I have tons of the little green ones.
Yeah, I have the little green ones too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't forget to roll call vote yourselves out of the meeting.
Okay, Michael,
Take care. Aye.
Jeff,
Aye.
Robert,
From meeting your children, Linda. Aye.
Steve,
Hey,
I'm an aye. Linda,
Aye.
There's another one.
what? Did I miss anybody?
Nope.
I think I got everybody.
okay.
Oh, look, you got 2 daughters now, Linda.
Yeah, they keep multiplying.
So the longer you stay on the Zoom call, the more orders you get.
Good night, Alan. Good night, Mary. Good night, Robert. Good night, whoever's on the phone.
Night.
Thanks for the invitation. Good night.
Bye.